In 15 minutes. This is where we are going to be transforming our lives by doing 5-minute exercises, one each on the mind, the body, and the soul. And I want to first take the time to wish you a happy Memorial Day. This is a day where we pay homage to those that have served and died for us in our armed services. So I really do appreciate our military and those that are out there protecting us and making sure that we are safe. All right, so my name is Pia McAdams, and I am an author. I'm also a college professor. I teach accounting, and I'm also a certified coach. I specialize in personal and small business finance and also fitness. I help people reach goals in those areas. And so what we're going to be doing is I'm going to actually help all of us transform our lives in 15 minutes. And you say, well, how are you going to do that, Pia? That's like a pretty big feat to do in 15 minutes. Well, it's the same concept of how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? So in just 5-minute increments, if we just take 5-minute exercises every single day just to work out our whole, then we will transform ourselves. So what does that mean? A lot of times what we try to do, good morning, Nellbell. A lot of times what we try to do is whenever we want to make changes, we think about the outside because obviously that's what we see, right? We pass the mirrors, we see ourselves, we're being critical of ourselves, we compare ourselves to, the media and the things that we're exposed to. And so when we want to make changes, the first thing that we do is we try to make changes on the outside. And although we may or may not be effective, it may or may not translate to happiness to us depending on what's on your inside. So I like to use the analogy of it's like painting your house on the outside, right? But you live on the inside, right? And if your inside is a total disaster area, no matter what it looks like on the outside, you're going to be miserable on the inside. And what that means is we are a whole, okay, made up of 3 parts. We're made up of mind, body, and soul. So if all you're doing is working on the body and trying to affect the change on the outside, you may or may not be happy, okay? However, if we start concentrating on all parts of us, which means the mind, the body, and the soul, then that translates to happiness because how could it not, right? Okay, so that's what we're doing. So with this transition, or this transformation, what we're doing for the mind is we're reading the book, and currently we're reading Psycho-Cybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz. And again, I mentioned that we're going to be reading this particular book all the way through the end of the month. And I'm so excited because I revealed a while ago, a few days ago, that I was going to be reading from my book, the book that I wrote 2 years ago, starting June 1st. But yesterday I told you what the book was about. So if you didn't get a chance to tune in, let me just kind of tell you again, because I'm still so excited about this. So my book is actually an analogy based upon a house. You know how you have different rooms in a house? Well, I made the comparison to your body as a house. So for example, in a house, you will have a living room. Well, in your body, you have your financial area. Okay, so the living room is indicative of your financial area. And then the kitchen is indicative of your physical area, where you have 2 bathrooms. One is the left brain, one is the right brain, and that's for your emotional development. And then you have 2 bedrooms. You have that, which is your relationship, which is one relationship with yourself and then relationship with others. And then last but not least is the office, and that's indicative of your spirituality. And how this all came about is, as you know, just kind of like growing up, I always used my house as how my life was turning out. So in other words, like if my house was clean, I felt like things were going really, really well in my life. Whereas if my house was kind of like dirty or just wasn't kept, I just kind of felt things weren't going well. So that's how like the seeds was planted in my mind to start writing this book. And then I was inspired, like I said, 2 years ago to write the book, and now I'm ready to release it. So I'm so excited to be reading from my book in June. I hope you are as well. All right, so then for the body portion, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing yoga. And as I mentioned, for the rest of this month, we're going to be continually doing the yoga salutation. Starting in June, I'm going to be adding some more routines to the yoga. And then last but not least, we have the soul portion, which we are doing meditation. We're doing a 5-minute meditation that's focusing on our breath, particularly Ujjayi breathing. And again, starting in June, I'm going to be doing different meditations. I'm going to be doing guided meditations. So good things to come. And it's all in the premises that you just take little small baby steps and you will reach your goal. Okay? All right. So on to this book right here. So we've been reading this book now, gosh, for over 30 days because I did the challenge for the 30 days prior to me continuing on throughout the rest of this month. And by the way, if you did miss, like if those of you, this is your first time, did I thank my members? I always try to thank my viewers. Well, if I didn't get a chance to thank you, I do want to thank you, those that are watching me live and those that are watching the recording, and those just kind of happen to stumble upon the recording. This is your first time. Welcome. Thank you for viewing and watching. All right, so with this book right here, what we're learning about is is our subconscious mind, and our subconscious mind plays a huge role into our happiness and also to how we go about life and how we view life, how we view success. Okay, so we're learning well, first of all, we're learning about the power of the subconscious, and then we're also learning how to refigure or reprogram our subconscious so that it works to our benefit. So in the last couple of days, we've been learning about happiness being a habit. And just like any other habits and beliefs, these can be changed. Because if you think about it, what is a habit? It's something that you do subconsciously over and over again. Like I mentioned about, you driving. I know this has happened to you. It had to at one point where all of a sudden you're driving and you get to a place and you're like, how in the world did I get here? Like I literally do not remember driving to this place, but I got here. Well, that was because your subconscious took over and you weren't, you got to your place because you've been driving to that place for over and over again. Or what is a belief? A belief is just a thought that you think over and over again. And so what I mentioned is those habits and beliefs today may not serve you. And if they do not serve you today, it's time to get rid of them. Why are you holding on to habits or beliefs that no longer serve you? That, my friends, is insanity. What is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, right? So if you're trying to do something different, but you're still using those same habits and beliefs, that's insanity. Because guess what? You don't have to. So now I also want to say this. If what you're currently doing working for you, then by all means don't change it. I mean, obviously it's working for you. Don't change it. But this is for, like, for instance, what if the sweetness is missing out of your life? Like seriously, what if all of a sudden the sweetness is missing? Or maybe you're married to someone who treats you like crap. Or maybe you're suffocating under the weight of too much pressure in your life. Or maybe things are going okay, but there's just like certain areas where you're just like, I need something different. These are the things that I'm talking about that we need to address, or that, that I'm trying to help you address. If things are going right for you, then by all means continue doing it. But if you need a change, then possibly you'll find it here. All right, not possibly, you will find it here. Yes, I am confident like that because, again, this is not me. And again, I don't claim anything I ever say, like anything you ever read in my post or my blog or anything I say. I don't make claims to anything. I'm a product of what I research or what's inspired to me or what I've learned. Okay, so again, it is not my job to make you or convince you to believe what I believe. It is my job to help you to have an open mind to other beliefs, particularly if they will serve you. In other words, why are you holding on to something that's not serving you? Particularly if you can get rid of it, which you can. So this book, again, is one of the books that we started off with, where it's actually helping us with our subconscious mind and learning the power of it. And I just kind of want to briefly go through this again. And I think I'll do this for the next few days because repetition is the key, right? I can say something or you can hear something one time and you may hear it. You may or not. Hear it again, or you hear it again, then all of a sudden, it puts a little trigger in your mind. You hear it 3 or 4 or 5 times and you start to believe it, right? Well, think about what is a belief. What is a belief but something, a thought that's thought over and over again? That's what a belief is. That's all it is. Something that you think over and over again. So that can be a positive belief or a negative belief. It can be a positive habit or a negative habit, right? It's just something over and over again. So with that being said, I want this to be put into your mind over and over again. And this, my friends, this is a visualization of your mind. So when you picture your mind, I want you to picture this diagram. I don't want you to picture your brain because your brain is an organ and this brain is itself. When you picture your mind, this is what I want you to picture, because your mind is composed of 2 parts. You have the upper part, which is your conscious mind. This is also known as your thinking mind. You also have the lower portion of your mind. This is your emotional mind, also known as your subconscious mind, which is your emotional mind. All right, so what you think and that what you apply emotion to develops into habits and beliefs. And then those habits and beliefs end up, this is your body, manifesting down to either actions or results or the lack thereof. Okay, so or the lack thereof. So it could be positive things, positive action, negative things, negative actions, positive things, negative action. Okay, did you see that? Positive is going to be positive because that's all you can get, right? But if you're thinking positive thoughts, but subconsciously there's some negative feelings towards anything, then guess what? It's going to be negative actions. Okay, so this is what we're learning. So that's why you want to work on this area here, because this area here has a major focus, and this is a major effect on going to be your results or your actions. I also mentioned that as a small child, we were actually born without a conscious. Okay, we would just have a subconscious, and our parents fed into us different beliefs based upon, let's say, money, God, religion, government, relationships, like all this. And again, it's not negative or positive. These are just their beliefs that they instilled upon us and that we develop. And then over time, we have a self-image. Okay. And that's, again, around about 5 or 6 years old when we start developing our conscious mind here. And then once we have our conscious mind, we start to still feed into this to self-image. And then fast forward as an adult, we're still carrying around that self-image. And again, a lot of this happened when we were 4 years old. Like, think about the time in your life. And this is really important. If you're really, really struggling, like, I don't have time to go into the deepness unless I was one-on-one. But if you're really, really struggling with life in general, think about what happened to you while you were 4 years old. And I can pretty much guarantee that it's going to be something that happened to you at that early age that was imprinted on in here that's really manifesting itself now. Okay, so again, this is what we're working on. We're learning that that we can actually reprogram the self-image. And it starts off with changing your environment so that you're around positive things. Like, for instance, you may need to change your circle of friends. You need to start first off with these thoughts. Because another thing that I mentioned is this. Where is this? And look, we are Memorial Day, so we're talking about the armed forces. The top part of your brain, which is your conscious mind, is like a drill sergeant. And what is the purpose of a drill sergeant? It's to give orders, right? So you're thinking, your conscious mind, those thoughts are giving orders. Remember, the orders are going down. Okay, so the flow goes this way. It does not go this way. The flow goes this way. Now, your bottom portion of your mind, which is your subconscious mind, your emotional mind, is like recruits. And the only word that it knows is yes. Okay, so what is the job of the recruit? To carry out those orders. And there's no such thing as no. Like, this is literal. This is not me, Pia. This is scientific. Seriously. Okay, the only word that your subconscious knows is yes. So whatever you think, your subconscious is going to agree with you. So what does that mean? If you're thinking, I can't do this, then guess what your subconscious is saying? Yes, you can't do this. If you're thinking, I'm a failure, then guess what your subconscious is thinking and feeling? Or I should say feeling. Yes, you are a failure. I'm unworthy. Yes, you are unworthy. I can. Yes, I can. You are worthy. Yes, you are worthy. Do you get it? So that's why it's very, very important to start thinking about these thoughts that you're having. And we do this subconsciously. Like, think about it. I guarantee you, like, if you went past a mirror today, you probably saw something about yourself that you were critical about. It might just be something small, my hair, oh, I got grays in my hair, or this, or I got wrinkles underneath my eyes, or something, some negative thought came into your mind, right? And this is subconscious. But guess what's happening? Yes, you're right. Yes, you're right. And then that's going to result in the actions. Because keep in mind, guys, our mind is powerful. And by the way, that's the result of this challenge here, is to work on all 3 parts, particularly the meditation. Like, I will say, of the feedback, I get a lot of feedback on the meditation portion because people are having a hard time meditating and they're asking for different tricks or different, am I doing it right? And I want you to know that meditation is a practice. And just like anything else, when you first start off, your mind is already going to be reeling with hundreds of thoughts, because that's just natural. That's normal. That's the sign of a healthy mind, which is okay. However, the purpose of meditation is to calm your mind. Okay, so to get rid of those thoughts. And that's why you hear me say, just before we get ready to meditate, I always remind you that as thoughts come into your mind, just kind of gently push them away. Don't fight them because they're going to come. Just gently push them away. And I give you the breath to focus on. So you're just going to focus on your breathing. Over time, if you keep up with it, I promise you, over time, you will start to learn how to control those thoughts where they don't come into your mind. Now, even me, I've been meditating for a while now, but do thoughts still come? Absolutely. There are days where I have really good meditation, and there's days where it's like, oh my gosh, my mind is just going crazy. That's just normal, natural. I haven't been practicing that long. I'm not like a monk or something where I just totally know how to just zone out my mind, but I am successful a majority of the time. But it takes practice. So I just want you to understand that, I know 5 minutes seem like a long time to sit in silence, particularly if you've never done it for a while, but it's these little small baby steps. And even if those 5 minutes, you were only able to calm your mind maybe 1 minute or a minute and a half or even 30 seconds, that's progress. Anything that you do toward your goal, to being successful, is progress. And by the way, we were all programmed to be successful. All right, so let me get on to the book so we don't go over, which we always do, but that's okay. Remember, the 15 minutes starts off when I start reading the book. So in other words, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. The talking before is like kind of helping you out here, because I know some of you have not been watching. And then I mentioned that they all are recorded. So if you've not seen the 30-day challenge, which started sometime in April, all of them have been recorded. You can either find them on my fan page, or probably easier if you find them on my YouTube channel. Just search for me, P.M. McAdams, and you'll see all 30 days listed there. And in addition to that, well, I now walk you through the sun salutation, but there's a separate video on the sun salutation. And there is also a separate video on why I chose this particular book, and a separate video on meditation of how to do the Ujjayi breaths. Okay, so all those can be found on my YouTube channel. Okay, so in this book, yesterday we started chapter 8, which the title was Ingredients of the Successful Type Personality and How to Acquire Them. And basically what we're learning is, remember I talked about your self-image, so we're learning about different roles that will that you will play in your life according to your self-image. So one of the examples talked about here was that there was a stay-at-home mom whose children were running awry, and whose husband would irritate her, so she would just like yell at least once a week. And basically it's because this was a new role for her as a mother, as a stay-at-home mom. She was previously, a working mom, and now she's a stay-at-home mom. And so with this new role, her self-image was kind of contradicting, because her self-image, of course, was based upon being a working mom. And now she's being a stay-at-home mom. So that struggle that she's having. There was another one. What was the other one? About a businessman. I don't recall what it was. Let me see if I can think about it. See it really, really quick. That was just the one that kind of resonated with me, because a lot of the people that I come into contact with, that's their situation, where it's just like a different role. But regardless of the fact, so what we're learning is how to be successful in any role. In other words, reprogramming your self-image. And by the way, in this particular book, we learn, in order to program your self-image, you're going to use things that we used to use as a small child, such as visualization, relaxation, mental picturing, acting as if. So the things that we used to do as a child. And I want you to think of it like this. Think of visualization is a language that you can be used to talk to your subconscious. Okay, so really there's so much power in visualization. You literally can visualize and change your self-image. I was reading something, and I heard that Arnold Schwarzenegger, remember he used to be a bodybuilder, he used to use visualization in order to win all those titles. In other words, he would mentally picture himself, being, the winner of those titles, and he would actually win. And even in the book, we went through numerous examples of people, not like famous people, just regular everyday people utilizing visualization in order to affect the outcome. So that's something that's very, very powerful. Okay, so don't discount it. I'm not talking about some foo-foo little voodoo stuff or nothing like that. Not at all. This is stuff that is proven to work. So we were actually talking about success, and in here, this doctor, because Dr. Maxwell Maltz was he was a plastic surgeon, but he was given a prescription of success. So that's where we ended up yesterday. And for each of the letters in the word success was the actual prescription. So the S was for the sense of direction. The U was for understanding, the C was for courage, the other C was for compassion, the E was for esteem, the S is for self-confidence, and then the last S was for self-acceptance. So today we're going to start reading underneath each of those. So we're going to start off with a sense of direction. It says the advertising executive. Okay, that was the other self-image, was the advertising executive. What was his? Oh, I know what it was. The advertising executive, he ended up getting like this major, I don't know, job or whatever. He got a major raise. And all of a sudden he started having doubts, because this was a huge step for him in his career. But again, it's like anything else. When you get something that you've always wanted, sometimes there's still those doubts like, oh my gosh, maybe I didn't deserve this, or what if I don't live up to it? That was what the premise is. Good morning, Tam Tam. Good to see you. All right, so sense of direction. This is underneath success. This is a prescription for success. The advertising executive straightened himself out and regained his confidence within a short time. Once he saw clearly that for several years he had been motivated by strong personal goals that he wanted to attain, including securing his present position. These goals were important to him. kept him on the track. However, once he got the promotion, he ceased to think in terms of what he wanted, but in terms of what others expected of him and whether he was living up to other people's goals and standards. He was like the skipper of a ship who had relinquished his hold upon the wheel and hoped that he would drift into the right direction. He was like a mountain climber who, as long as he looked upward to the peak that he wished to scale, felt and acted courageously and boldly. But when he got to the top, he felt that there was nowhere else to go and began to look down and became afraid. He was now on the defensive, defending his present position rather than acting like a goal striver and going on to the offensive to attain his goal. He regained control when he set himself new goals and began to think in terms of, what do I want out of this job? What do I want to achieve? Where do I want to go? Functionally, a man is somewhat like a bicycle, I told him. A bicycle maintains its poise and equilibrium only as long as it is going forward towards something. You have a good bicycle. Your trouble is you're trying to maintain your balance skills, your balance sitting still, but with no place to go. It's no wonder you feel shaky. We are engineered as goal-seeking mechanisms. We are built that way, and that's an important concept to remember that I've been reiterating over and over again. We were built as humans from God. We were built to be successful. Okay, we were manufactured to be successful, but it's all the other things that come into play. First off, a lot of us don't even define what success is to us. We look at what other people think of success is, and then we use that as our gauge. But you have to define what you feel is success for you, to you. And then not only that, once you have that definition, in order to strive towards it, you need to have clear goals, clear, smart goals. So a lot of times we have these ambiguous goals like, oh, I want to lose weight, or oh, I want to get out of debt, or oh, this is one of my favorite, oh, I want to be happy. What does that mean? You have to be clear and specific. Okay, so that's what this is talking about. It says when we have no personal goal, and when we have no personal goal that we are interested in, and that means something to us, we are apt to go around in circles, feel lost, and find life itself aimless and purposeless. We are built to conquer environments, solve problems, achieve goals, and we find no real satisfaction or happiness in life without obstacles to conquer and goals to achieve. People who say that life is not worthwhile are really saying that they themselves have no personal goals and that are worthwhile. So here's your prescription. Get yourself a goal worth working for. Better still, get yourself a project. Decide what you want out of a situation. Always have something ahead of you to look forward to and to work for and hope for. Look forward, not backwards. Develop what one of the automobile manufacturer calls the forward look. Develop a nostalgia for the future instead of for the past. The forward look and the nostalgia for the future can keep you youthful. Even your body doesn't function well when you stop being a goal striver and have nothing to look forward to. That is the reason that very often when a man retires, he dies shortly thereafter. When you're not a goal striving and not looking forward, you're literally not living. In addition to your purely personal goals, have at least one impersonal goal or cause which you can identify yourself with. Get interested in some project to help your fellow man. Not out of a sense of duty, but just because you want to. All right, so let's see. Let me see if I want to read this portion right here. I guess I will. All right, throughout his work, Dr. Maltz used two terms that some people find more beneficial than the word goal. The word goal causes a negative reaction or feeling or tension in some people, but if they use the word project or cause, they understand what they need to do. For example, Bob Bly, a successful writer and marketing master, insists he never set a goal in his life, but he always has projects on his desk. Always has something he's working on achieving. And in the same vein, when I asked my young daughter, Faith, what she wanted to accomplish, she replied, I don't know. So I changed my question to, what would you like to do? She instantly began telling me what she wanted to get good at, not just do. So if the word goal is not to your liking, use another word to help you rather than hinder you on your journey. So that's a good point. So if you don't like the word goal, then project or something that you want to do are good alternatives. All right. So that's going to conclude our mind point. And we're going to move on now to the yoga. Now with the yoga, just remember that we're doing a sun salutation. And sun salutation has two purposes. One, we're paying homage to the sun, to the universe for giving us energy. And we're also getting actually there's multiple purposes, right? We're getting our energy, our blood flowing. energizing our body, and we're also strengthening our body and our muscles. So immediately following the yoga, we're going to go right to, I'm not going to say it because that's going to manifest it. So I remembered my cell phone. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, so immediately following the yoga, we're going to go into the meditation. And remember, the purpose of the meditation is to calm your mind, okay? So this is a practice, and I invite you to practice with me. So join me in the yoga and also in the meditation. And by the way, for those of you, this is your first time watching, a lot of times you say, well, I don't have 15 minutes right in the middle because this is like on the East Coast, this is like right around 9 o'clock or so. And then on the West Coast, it's very early at 6 o'clock in the morning. So what I recommend is, I didn't say transform your life in 15 consecutive minutes. I said 15 minutes with 5-minute exercises. So if you don't have time to do all of the 5-minute exercises at once, then you can break it up. Okay, so again, it's all about eating that elephant. It's just one bite at a time. And you don't have to start the tail, or you don't have to start at the trunk. You can start anywhere, just one bite. So with that being said, my general recommendation, again, this is a general recommendation, is that when you get up in the morning, do 5 minutes of yoga. You know, do this yoga salutation. Do it 7 rounds, and basically it's going to be the same thing over and over again. You're going to see it because I'm going to do it for the rest of this month, and then I'll do something different starting next month. But the yoga salutation is a cycle, and you're going to do that, 7 times. Then in the middle of the day, as you start to get stressed because, your day becomes hectic and you really need to just kind of slow down and breathe, then stop and do 5 minutes of meditation. So just do your breath, your breathing there. And then just before you get ready to go to bed, then that's why I recommend that you read something positive. Okay, so put something positive in your mind. So if you want to break this up, then do the yoga first, then do the meditation midday, and then do the mind, excuse me, in the evening. And by the way, for some people, it's different. Like, some people, it may be a different combination of things. And so for some people, again, I recommend that you meditate more than once a day as you get good with it. Okay, like once you get comfortable. I don't want to kind of like throw all that at you right now because it's just small bites at a time. But it's like anything else, right? If you bite something that tastes good, you're like, I want more. So as you tend to want more of this, which I guarantee you will, then you're going to see that meditation really serves you. I meditate several times throughout the day. Sometimes if I'm distressed, and remember, there's different types of meditation. You can just take 5 deep breaths or just 3 deep breaths. And just a deep breath, because a lot of us, we don't breathe correctly. We breathe from our chest. We don't breathe from our diaphragm. And so what I teach you from the meditation and the meditation video is I teach you how to do the diaphragmatic breathing, where you're actually inhaling, where your abdominals expand and your chest rises, and then exhaling where the opposite happens, where the chest falls and the abs collapse. Okay, so deep breaths. A lot of us do on this chestal breathing where we're just talking and breathing out of here, and that's not deep breaths. Okay. So anyway, so practice with me right now for the yoga, and then immediately following the yoga, we will go on to the meditation. Feet underneath your hips, your shoulders are drawn in back, your head's a natural extension of your spine, standing up nice and tall. Your body weight is evenly distributed between the balls of your feet and your heels. You're going to take a nice deep breath, inhaling, and as you exhale, dive the body forward. As you inhale, look up halfway, flatten out your back. As you exhale, flatten out your palms, step back, right, left into the plank. As you continue exhaling, release your knees, your chest, and your chin. As you inhale, bring your body up to upward facing dog, relaxing your shoulders down and away from your ears. And then curl your toes under as you exhale and go to downward facing dog. And we're going to hold this for 5 deep breaths. Your fingers and your toes are spread out nice and wide. Your thumbs are facing each other, and your middle fingers are facing forward. Your hands in line with your biceps. Lift your kneecaps to engage those quadriceps, and try to get your heels down to the floor. Now step forward, right, left. Inhale, take it all the way up. And exhale, dive the body forward. As you inhale, look up halfway as you flatten out your back. Place the palms down, step back, left, right into the plank. And as you continue exhaling, release your knees, your chest, and your chin. As you inhale, bring your body forward to the upward facing dog, relaxing your shoulders back. And as you exhale, take it to downward facing dog. And this time we're going to hold for 3 deep breaths. Press your shoulders down and away from your ears. Your tailbone is sticking toward the back of the room. Your body is an inverted V. Now step forward, left, right. As you inhale, look up halfway. As you exhale, forward fold. Inhale, take it all the way up. This time we're going to arch back. Exhale, forward fold. Look up halfway. Flatten out the palms, step back, right, left to the plank. Releasing your knee, chest, and chin. Scooping your body forward to upward facing dog. On the inhale, as you exhale, curl the toes under to downward facing dog. Now step forward, right, left. Looking up halfway as you inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, take it all the way up, arch back. Exhale, guide the body forward to a forward fold. Look up halfway. Flatten out the palms, step back, left, right. Release your knee, chest, chin, or Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale to upward facing dog. Curl the toes under. Exhale to downward facing dog. Step forward, left, right, looking up halfway. Exhale. Inhale, arch back. Exhale. Look up halfway. Flatten out the palms, right, left, knee, chest, chin, or Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, curl the toes under, and exhale. Step forward as you inhale, forward fold as you exhale. Inhale, arch back. Exhale, guide the body forward. Look up halfway. Flatten out the palms, left, right, knee, chest, chin. Inhale, curl the toes under, and exhale. Step forward, inhale up, forward fold. This time inhale, we're going to greet the palms together at the top, and exhale down through the center, and namaste. Okay, so this is going to bring us to the meditation portion. And I want you to come to a nice comfortable seated position. If you are sitting in a chair, make sure you take your shoes off so that your feet are grounded to the floor. If you're seated in a comfortable seated position, you can do it cross style. You can do it lotus, half lotus, whatever feels comfortable to you. Make sure your spine is nice and straight, your shoulders are back, and your head is a natural extension of your spine. And I'm slightly touching my thumb and my index finger, but a lot of times when I'm meditating, I'm actually in this pose right here. But right now, I'm just doing the thumb and the index finger. So you're going to close your eyes. And again, as thoughts come into your mind, just gently push them aside. The breathing pattern is we're going to inhale for 1, we're going to hold for 1, and then we're going to exhale for 2. You're inhaling, hold, and exhale. Inhale, hold, and exhale. exhale. Continue on with that breathing pattern. Again, inhale, hold, and exhale. Release, relax, and return refreshed and calm. You've done something good for yourself today. Okay, that concludes the challenge for today. I want to remind those of you that decided to take upon that habit challenge where you're going to be changing your habit for the next 21 days. Make sure you continuously do that. All we're doing is we're putting on our shoes on the opposite leg first. So if you typically put your right foot in first, right shoe on first, change and do your left. And remember, you got to do that for at least the next 21 days. If you forget one day, guess what? You start all over again. Remember, it's these little incidental habits. If you can affect change there, then you can then attempt to try to affect the change where it's really going to make a difference. But if you just try to change something that's really going to make a difference without starting with this little scratch first, like something that's incidental, you're going to find that much more challenging. But anyway, have a great and happy Memorial Day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.